How you doing? Welcome everybody. We are here at Denver Elections. Welcome under the Office of the Clerk and Recorder. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. My grandfather in World War II from Greeley was sent out to Germany to defend the democracy. He came back. A lot of people didn't. My idols and my people I learned from by example, people like John Lewis, fought in the streets in the civil rights movement in the South, all throughout the Southwest. Even here in Denver, they faced dogs, they faced fire hoses, they faced people who were blocking them from just participating in the vote. They defended the democracy. We have folks today who are defending the democracy. And all we have to do, all you have to do, is just vote to defend the democracy. There are so many people out there who are counting on you to vote, who are counting on us to defend the democracy. There are schools and districts and students who are counting on us to opine on who their next school board member will be. There are initiatives and questions that are going to determine the future of this city that depend on your participation. Right now, we have a turnout that is a little low. It is absolutely critical that we exercise the most basic action and the most basic function that we can do. And all we have to do, we don't have to get into uniform, we don't have to get out in the street and organize. All you got to do is hit the ballot box with your ballot. There's 41 of them. That's right. There's 41 of them now around the city. In the last 2 years, we've increased that by 13. It is easy to vote in Denver. All you have to do is fill out your ballot, sign the back of it, and drop it off in one of our secure 24-hour drop boxes. You can come by and drive through and hand it off to us. If you still haven't received your ballot, you can give us a call at 311, option 8, and you can come in and we will have your ballot prepared for you. It is too late to mail it. It's too late to put a stamp on it, and you don't have to put a stamp on it if all you got to do is put it in a drop box. There are also 11 vote centers all across this city, and there are 2 mobile vote centers that are driving around making sure that every single person has access to the ballot box, no matter what zip code you live in. It is very easy to vote in Denver. Do not take that for granted. Every single election matters. Every single vote matters. Every single voice matters. All it takes is just one vote, so make it yours. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Clerk Lopez. And let me just simply say, yesterday I walked into this building to vote, cast my ballot, and it was shortly after the vote that I had a conversation with one of the election officials, and I asked the question how we're doing in terms of voter turnout. And at that point, the answer was, quote, "We are just a shade under 3%, end quote. That is far below where we normally are at this time prior to an election in Denver, Colorado. The reality is that it's very easy to vote in Denver. And what we have to guard against in this particular election, where we don't have a shiny U.S. senatorial campaign or a presidential campaign or election taking place in Denver, is to not allow for a small group of voters to determine the direction of our city. This is where we must lean in the most, as Clerk and Recorder Paul Lopez just laid out. We have some very critical initiatives on the ballot, some very important questions, and it's important that we all lean in on these particular questions and have our voices heard. And so we decided yesterday afternoon to come before the media to begin to spread the word. 1, remind everyone that it is election season. The election is Tuesday. 2, if you have a ballot sitting in your home, it is too late to mail it in. But to Clerk and Recorder's point, we have ballot drop-off locations all over the city of Denver. And we want to encourage people to use them. You can go to denvervotes.org to determine where that drop-off location is closest to you and where you can drop it off. But you have until Tuesday at 7 p.m. So use this weekend to take the time to read the ballots, questions, to educate yourself, and to make sure that you fill it out and you vote. Critically important that we vote. Let me finish with this point. Last week, we held a national nonpartisan conversation on voter rights in Denver. People from all over the country came to Denver to have this conversation. And what we see happening around the country in 49 states, bills have been introduced to roll back voter rights and voter access. 19 states have not only passed, but governors have signed those laws. All of them talked about Colorado being the gold standard in terms of same-day registration, drop-off locations, in terms of making it easy, all mail ballots in Colorado and in Denver, Colorado. It is very easy. And now we find ourselves really just encouraging folks to take the time to vote. People's votes are being suppressed all over this country today. In Colorado, we have the ability to vote. We make it easy for you to vote. Now we need to demonstrate not only are we appreciative of the right and the access to vote, but that we use the power of voting to determine the future of our city and our state. So we really just came together, and I'm proud to stand with Clerk and Recorder Paul Lopez to encourage all of Denver to vote, and again, not to allow a small group of voters to determine the future direction of our city. I guess we'll take any questions you all may have.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, you said the turnout right now, or last night, was under 3%. Roughly where should you be? Where are we normally in an off-year election?
You know, it's an off-year election, and typically you see anywhere from, and maybe Clerk and Lopez might say this, but I can tell you, if we're a shade under 3%, we typically expect anywhere from 35 to 45% voter turnout at this point in time for an election, an off-season election. We're way below. We got a lot of work to do between now and next Tuesday.
That's an excellent question. A lot of it has to depend on folks' ability to just get out and use that ease of access to the ballot box. I mean, we're trending a little low right now, but there's a lot at stake. There's a 3-card ballot. There's a lot of folks out there that there's a 2-card. I apologize. There's a 2-card ballot out there. There's a lot of questions. Make sure that you study your ballot. You can do it at home. You can do it at work, and you can fill that out and just put it in that envelope, sign it. It's so easy to do, and you drop it at one of our 41 locations around the city. And I have to say that, a lot of what we've been doing, folks in Denver and in Colorado have been voting since this election has been live since September. We sent our first overseas ballots at the end of September. And folks here have received their ballot. We mailed them on October 8th. So it is very, very critical that people understand that we have this whole time to be able to vote. Don't wait until the last second to vote. You don't need to stand in line. All you can do is just drop out at one of our drop boxes. There's 41 of them around the city. The other thing that we did and that we're continuing to do is turnout depends on what's on the ballot, but also it depends on who is knocking on doors. It depends on having those word of mouth conversations at diners, in your pulpit, at home. With our efforts with the Clerk and Recorder's Office, we've had an engagement effort where we've had our team working all year round. We've registered over 1,000 people to vote. We've had over 80 engagement events. That's community meetings, neighborhood meetings, Zoom calls, community events. So that is out there, and that turnout, it is our hope that people vote. It's the most basic thing that you can do in the democracy. Again, you don't have to sacrifice your life for it. Other people did that, so you have that opportunity to put that ballot in that box.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.